Hey everyone, welcome back. So, imagine this for a second. Our economy is growing, incomes are rising, and the stock market is doing okay. But somehow the IRS is collecting way less money in taxes this year. Over $500 billion less, in fact. That's a huge deal, and it's not just a number on a screen. This drop could mean real changes to how the government operates and what programs get funded. It's a story that affects all of us, whether we realize it or not. And what's behind it might surprise you. And if you're into clear, no fluff breakdowns like this, take a second to subscribe. I'm here to make complex money topics easier to understand and a little less stressful for you. Now, let's explore what's really going on here. At the center of this issue is the IRS, the agency that collects almost all the money the federal government uses to run. Think Social Security payments, military salaries, infrastructure projects, all of that depends on tax revenue. Normally, around 95% of the government's money comes through the IRS. But this year, things aren't looking good. Despite the economy growing, the IRS is on track to collect over 10% less than last year. That's a $500 billion gap. And when I say it's unusual, I mean this is happening even though personal income and the stock market have gone up. So then, what's the disconnect? Well, it turns out this isn't just about numbers, it's about capacity. Over the past year, there's been a major shakeup at the IRS. More than 11,000 employees have already been let go, and nearly 20,000 could be gone soon. These are not just any jobs. Most of them are the people who audit returns, answer questions, and track down unpaid taxes. Basically, the backbone of the system. And it's not just about layoffs. The agency has been under pressure to modernize and do more with fewer people. There's been a push to shift towards automation and digital tools, but that kind of change doesn't happen overnight. It's kind of like trying to run a restaurant with half the kitchen staff while still serving the same number of customers. At some point, service is going to slip. So you see, when enforcement drops, behavior changes. And that's exactly what IRS insiders are seeing. More people are either not filing, underreporting income, or stretching their deductions a bit too far. There's even been a noticeable rise in online chatter about how to avoid taxes altogether. And people feel more comfortable doing that now because, frankly, they don't think anyone's watching. So far this season, the number of tax returns filed is only down by about 1.7% compared to last year. But here's the thing, the money attached to those returns is way down. That tells us something big. People may be filing, but they're paying less or delaying payment. And that goes for businesses too, especially large ones that usually pay estimated quarterly taxes. This year, those payments are coming in lower than expected. Now, why does this matter to you? Well, because if the IRS collects less money, the government has less to spend. That can show up in delays to Social Security, federal aid programs, or even your tax refund. It can also shake investor confidence, which affects the stock market, interest rates, and even inflation. On top of that, the US is up against a firm debt ceiling again. Congress has to agree to raise or suspend that limit, or else the government legally can't borrow more money. If that happens, and the IRS has already collected less than expected, we could run out of cash to pay basic bills by summer. Some experts are warning we could hit that crisis point as early as June. Right now, the Treasury is using something called extraordinary measures to buy time. These are like emergency accounting tricks that shift money around internally. But those only work for so long. After that, if Congress hasn't acted, the US might be forced to delay or skip payments. That could include interest on debt, veterans benefits, and even salaries for active duty military. And if you're wondering whether this is all just politics, well, part of it is. Some leaders want to cut taxes even further, arguing that the IRS can be more efficient if it's smaller. Others argue that gutting the IRS only hurts our ability to fund anything at all. Meanwhile, everyday taxpayers are left in the middle, trying to figure out what's going to happen next. One thing we should think about here is trust. If people stop believing that the system works fairly, that everyone pays their fair share, it starts to break down. It becomes easier to justify not paying what you owe if you feel like big corporations or the wealthy are getting away with it. What's more, there's this quiet shift happening behind the scenes. customer service is getting worse. Fewer people are able to reach the IRS for help with questions or problems. And for a lot of folks, especially those who rely on help filing or understanding credits, that could be a real barrier. It's not all doom and gloom, though. This could be a turning point. If we look at this moment as a wake-up call, it might be the push needed to modernize the tax system in a way that's fair, efficient, and effective. But it's going to take leadership, not just cuts and slogans. And next, let's talk about what you can do personally. First, make sure you're still filing your taxes correctly and on time. Even if enforcement is lower, penalties can still catch up with you. Second, double-check your withholdings and tax payments. Don't assume the system is too broken to notice mistakes. It's also a good time to be cautious about advice you see online. If someone's encouraging you to fudge your numbers or skip filing, think twice. A short-term gain might lead to long-term problems. Another thing to keep in mind is how this all ties into larger financial planning. If government funding gets shakier, we might see changes in Social Security timelines, Medicare resources, or even tax credits you count on. So this isn't just a story about this tax season. It's a story about how our financial system holds together. And if you've ever felt like the tax system is confusing or unfair, you're not alone. A lot of people feel that way. But the solution isn't to disengage, it's to stay informed and stay involved. Talk to your representatives, ask questions, and make sure your voice is part of the conversation. These decisions affect all of us. Thanks for sticking with me through this one. If you found it helpful, feel free to share it with someone who's also trying to make sense of what's going on. And let me know in the comments. Have you noticed anything different about your tax experience this year? Are you feeling more confident or more uncertain? As always, I'm here to help break it all down. Take care, and I'll see you.